all sleepy.
Yep. So I guess this video is a little long overdue. My last vlog was abruptly cut off because I had a medical emergency. I felt seemingly healthy. I really didn't have too many symptoms or anything going on, so I really wasn't anticipating anything. And then one day I kind of woke up and had just uncomfortability, not so much actual pain, just uncomfortable and bloating, or nothing out of the ordinary. It's just, I'm a female and it just seemed like normal female pains. I had gone to work, everything seemed fine. Diego came and picked me up. We came home. As soon as I got home, I don't know, it was just an instant pain in my lower abdomen, to the point that I was just immediately crying and dry heaving. I was actually vomiting with how painful it was, and I never had pain like that before. I thought maybe it was another ovarian cyst and maybe it was trying to twist and this was it, but this hurt way more than I had before, so I knew something was wrong. And I had Diego, we got dressed real quick and I had him take me to urgent care, so that was a really long drive. We ended up going to the emergency room, and then we waited about 10 hours. Nobody offered any type of pain meds, nothing, just me throwing up in pain and screaming. Finally ordered some CT scans, stuff like that, like always taking my blood. And then more waiting, and then more waiting and more waiting. Finally they took us back to a room, and a physician had come to talk to us that there was an ovarian cyst, a very large ovarian cyst, but it looked abnormal, and it's because they had taken my blood that there were some cancer markers in my blood. So, or they were trying to schedule me for surgery. It was just a matter of more waiting. And then when they came and wanted to get some consents and said there was a possibility they were gonna have to give me a hysterectomy and take everything out, which was just absolutely heartbreaking. Diego and I had just purchased our house and we're actually just starting to start our family. So hearing that was really heartbreaking. It was really hard for us, and it was something I didn't want to accept. So, we told them that really wasn't something I was okay with, and if they could prevent that, I would really like them to save my everything, save everything. But I mean, obviously I understood if one of the ovaries was destroyed that they were gonna have to take it. Anyways, they said they would, but they wouldn't know until they opened me up. So we kind of just quietly prayed together and then just kind of accepted whatever was gonna happen. Anyway, so I had my surgery. When I came out, the first thing I had asked was if they took everything, and Diego just kind of gave me a hug and said no, they only removed one ovary. They left everything else. And then physician came and talked to me, kind of gave me a rundown of how the surgery went. They said that the ovarian cyst ruptured in my abdomen and was leaking, and that when she looked at it, it did look like a cancerous mass, and they had sent it for a biopsy, and that my blood was still showing cancer markers. So, but they won't know until the biopsy comes back. So I recovered. We came home. I was out from work. I was out on disability for about a month, which frickin' sucked. They gave me a laparotomy. So instead of originally, when I first had this a couple of years ago, I got a laparoscopic surgery. So I just have like little tiny scars on my stomach. This one, they decided to give me a laparotomy, which essentially starts at my belly button and goes down almost until my pelvic bone, like the end of my, anyways, it's probably a good long scar. So I had to recover from that. That sucked. And then I had a follow-up, and then we were really hopeful that because the last ovarian cyst I had was benign, that why shouldn't this one? So when we had our follow-up appointment, I think we were, you know, feeling really good about it, and until she said that the results came back, and she used some medical terminology that I didn't understand, and then I heard the word malignant, and then I heard the word carcinoma, and then it all just kind of like faded out, and I let her continue and let her kind of go on, and then I just kind of went numb for a little bit, because this is not two words that you really want to hear. So when she was done talking and she just kind of looked at me waiting for me to ask anything, say anything, I said, so just for my understanding, I have cancer? And she shook her head and she said yes. And that we needed to talk about treatment options because the tumor had ruptured and leaked into my abdomen, that it essentially contaminated all my other organs that were down there. So she said during the surgery they had cleaned up as much as they could, you know, drained everything they could and cleaned up everything that they could, but the type of cancer that it was very invasive, and you know, we were gonna schedule some things, so I ended up having an endoscopy and a colonoscopy so that they can check for more tumors, because the type of cancer it usually is in those areas too. So had to prepare for that. A little weird to have a colonoscopy so young, so preparing for that was a treat. It was like 2 days of fasting and drinking this horrible concoction to flush everything out, which was just fucking miserable. Then I had the procedure. I woke up, first thing I asked, was it good? Was it bad? They said it was very clean. There was no signs of any tumors. There was nothing. So that was a good sign, which means it was, you know, I think isolated to just the tumor on my ovary. Chemotherapy was going to be my best treatment to make sure that it doesn't metastasize to my other organs. Went forward with that, had to do a whole lot of prepping because, again, we were trying to start a family, so chemotherapy would essentially make it more difficult. I'm already down one ovary. Chemotherapy will basically, you know, destroy the eggs that I have. Yeah, it was a lot. We ended up getting, you know, we laid out our options of what we could do. Thankfully, they helped me out and they were able to get us an appointment with a fertility specialist. We ended up moving forward. Thankfully, my health insurance covers IVF. So they covered a good portion of that. We ended up taking that route to do IVF. So for 2 weeks, Diego and I had to do IVF treatments and injections, and got my eggs retrieved, fertilized, and frozen. That way, when I'm all done with chemo, I can just get it implanted and, you know, save as many eggs as possible. So that was really hard. That was really difficult, and my heart goes out to anybody who ever has to do IVF, because that was probably one of the most emotional things that I had to go through, that Diego and I had to go through, because honestly, I don't know if I could have done that by myself. I honestly don't think I could have done that alone. To make my chemo treatments a little bit more easier, we ended up getting a port placed in my chest. That way they're not tearing up my arms and having to stick me all the time. So I got a port placed in my chest. So it's just direct access, is a direct line to a vein. That way, you know, when I go in for my treatments, they just tap right into the port, leave my arms alone. I already have to get labs done before, so my arms are gonna get pricked all the time. It was just easier. So I got that placed. That that was interesting. It's weird to have this. I have done one treatment so far, which I have no proof of. I have no footage of. I vlogged none of it. I was really scared the morning of, and I was really anxious the entire time. So when I got there, they give you so much liquid Benadryl so that you have no reactions to any of the medication. It wiped me out. I wanted to sleep the whole time. I was like fighting it. I felt really woozy and almost drunk. I felt drunk. So, you know, but I was trying to fight it and talk, and I remember hearing myself like slurring and getting words mixed up, trying to fight it, and they're just like, just take a nap, just go to sleep, it's fine. But it was my first time. I wanted to make sure that I was awake, and I wanted to see what was going on because, you know, I just wanted to see the whole process. But so yeah, I did round one. Round one is done, completed. You know, you're on steroids for the first couple days after chemo, so you have a lot of energy. There wasn't much to it. Probably day 4 through 6, my bones ached really bad. And yeah, just, I had achy bones, which, you know, prevented me from sleeping. It was to the point where I was in tears because it hurt so bad. They did prescribe me some pain meds, and one of the pain meds that they had prescribed me, you know, my pain was so bad, I gave in, and I ended up taking it. And it was a pain med that it was a pain medication that I had never taken before. And I really wasn't expecting much to happen, except much happened. I got an allergic reaction, and I really don't know if it was the pain meds, but it's the only thing I can think of. Nothing else happened except for taking those prescribed pain medication. I broke out in the nastiest rash. I just had hives, just started in my hands, and then started down up my arms, my armpits, down my legs, and then it started getting into my chest and my stomach, my back, and then it started getting into my lips, and my lips were so like swollen that it looked like I had really bad lip injections. So I was sitting there, you know, feeling my throat. My throat was not closing. It wasn't hard to breathe. It wasn't, you know, I wasn't swelling up, but I was watching for that. And it was a weekend, so I had messaged them and told them, you know, hey, this is happening. Should I be concerned? And because it was a weekend, I didn't get a response. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna self-monitor. I don't wanna take myself to the emergency room unless I absolutely have to. Thankfully, there was no swelling. I was just trying to drink water and flush everything out of my system as much as I could. And, you know, obviously I wasn't taking the medication anymore. So, yeah, so that rash sucked. And then when they finally had reached out to me, they ended up prescribing me some steroids, but it was already clearing up. I took a couple days of the steroids and it cleared up a little bit faster. So now I'm just I don't have any more of the rash. This hand got so bad that I have some scabbing and some hyperpigmentation on it, just because of how bad I had itched and like scratched away at my skin. But other than that, I'm all healed from that. Let's see. Tired. I'm tired a little bit here and there. What has developed in the last 2 days is my hair loss. But just 2 days ago, which is, we're going on, I think 2.5 weeks since my last, yeah, almost 3 weeks since my first session. I noticed that, you know, my hair is coming out. My scalp actually feels really tender. My scalp feels like it's one giant bruise, is the best way I can describe it. And my hair is coming out in chunks, which actually you can probably, you know, just kind of see how thin it is. You know, I have very thick hair, and this is like the thinnest I've ever seen it. So yeah, yeah, so my hair's coming out. And I was prepared. I knew that that was going to be a possibility, and I had accepted it. And my hair's already short. I've already had buzzed hair, so it's not something that, you know, I'm freaking out too bad about it, except it is very scary and it is very emotional to see your hair coming out in chunks, I barely have to touch it. Like the sweater's just covered in hair. When I get up in the morning, my pillow is covered in hair. When I'm showering, just the water it's touching my hair is just clumps just falling down into the drain. So, you know, I've been talking with Diego and letting him know that it's it's giving me anxiety seeing how much hair is everywhere, and just, you know, I don't want people to see that I'm just pulling chunks out of my hair. So to save our drains, to save my anxiety and save this trouble of having just hair just littering the house everywhere, because I've got, my hair may be short, but I have a lot of it. We have decided that we are going to shave it off today. We're gonna do it. I was gonna do it yesterday, and then we ended up having such a busy day with yard work. We ended up not doing it yesterday. But Sunday fun day, we're gonna chop the hair off. I wanted to do one last video with my hair before it's all gone. I'm gonna go in there and get the clippers ready and see if Diego wants to assist me. I had it all planned out. I thought I could make it a couple more weeks, and I wanted to plan like a hair shaving party, and I was like, well, I could stretch it out to like Cinco de Mayo and have like a celebration and all these things, and that's not happening. It's coming out so bad. So it looks like today is gonna be the day.
Yeah, do it like that. And then just drop in the sink.
I would have been happy doing it. It's being forced into doing it.
Yeah.
It makes it different. It's like it's. Well, at least we didn't fucking throw a party where we start crying in front of everybody. Oh my god, look at all that white hair. We'll put a bunch of hair in. What were you thinking? A water bottle.
Oh, it's a video on that.
Okay. Yeah, if you need me to pause, let me know.
Round 2 is done. I'm back home. I'm probably gonna take a nap because I feel wiped out. Like, I'm wiped out. I'm gonna take a nap because that took a lot. Anyways, round 2 is done.